Energy
But
up, damn it.
anyway, welcome to the threesome. This is the podcast where the three of us make a attempt to try to discuss at least three topics each week. That was very repetitive. Make an attempt to try. That is not at all what I meant. I do know how to talk, I promise. Anyway, the podcast where the three of us make an attempt to discuss at least three topics each week. If you are back for more of our foolishness, we do thank you for putting up with us once again. If somehow you have wandered into this mess for the first time, we are so glad you found us. And as always, we, meaning me, because they don't, apologize in advance.
Damn right.
And our point person and optimistic realist, we call her Miss Star.
Pick Pat. Hey Pat. Paddywhack, give a dog a bone. I don't know. Shit, I ain't got nothing this week.
It's knick-knack. Listen to
is it
EPMD
knick-knack?
or nothing.
Oh, that's right. I'm tired.
Man,
Did she say
shout out to
dick
hip-hop
tap?
chicks.
I
What'd
said
she say?
Pit Pat. I said Pit Pat.
Oh.
But in all
You know
fairness,
where your mind's at.
no. In all fairness, that's Elmo's fault because I have a 1.5-year-old granddaughter, and Elmo, like, he changes the lyrics on stuff. Like, it's no longer bingo, it's Elmo, and it's a whole bunch of other shit. So that's Elmo's
Elmo's
fault.
World Song is a ripoff.
Yeah.
Right.
He
We know
changes
Sesame
the-
Street don't like black people. Anyway.
Anyhow, our man in the middle and our voice of reason, he's the man we call Magic.
Remember that people love to their level of self-love, communicate to their level of self-awareness, and behave to their level of healed karma. Unknown Arthur.
Okay. Good to know. And bringing up the rear, as always, I identify as the pragmatic contrarian of our group. And they call me Storm.
Sesame Place, Sesame Street was built for black people. My bad.
Okay. Well, Sesame Place is being sued for like millions of dollars.
Of course.
That's a different story.
Who would have known black babies would show up in Philly?
Right. Yeah. Who could have
Seen that coming.
plan for that. Right.
right. So anybody have any announcements this week?
We're recording this on a Saturday, and according to the internet, George Jetson is supposed to be born tomorrow. Congratulations to the mother.
Okay.
Nerd life.
Jetson was born tomorrow.
Yes,
I guess at this point it was, yeah.
I would be more. I would want to know when I can get a dog like Astro. Like, that's what I would want to know.
Astro.
More so- Yeah, I love Astro.
What up black people are in the future, but okay.
I know, right? But
Yeah.
Black people weren't a consideration back in, when was that? The 60s?
Before me,
Yeah, me too.
working underground.
But
like
I did love the
Morlocks.
Jetsons.
Are you sure? Because you're old.
Who? Me?
You. Yeah, you.
You're older than me.
Yeah.
Again.
You have a 24. You have a 24-year-old. I only have a 23-year-old. You're a year older than me today.
And that fucked up ass math. and she's not 24 yet. So
Who says women are bad at math?
Okay. Well, that's true. Tomorrow, maybe she should change her name to George. Who knows? Anyway.
Yeah. Happy birthday to her.
Yeah, happy birthday to her.
What's her name? But I've had to bleep it out enough times on this podcast.
I know that's
Listen,
right.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, I always liked Astro. Astro's funny to me, and Rosie. Rosie's hilarious too.
Yeah, that might have been the only black character on the show.
Why? Because she was the maid.
No,
Nah,
she had
just
so much sass.
Orange's attitude.
Oh, well,
was
sure.
Built like Aunt Jemima.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Sarah
anyway.
Bartman, which way?
I don't even know how to start unpacking that. But
Just
Yeah,
like
Rosie was
Julie
good.
Blair.
yeah, Rosie was funny. And
He's a bad hatter.
yeah, her boyfriend, though, I was just like, as robots go, he was not cute. That was a whole different
Whose
issue.
boyfriend?
Not everyone
Rosie's
can be a
boyfriend.
rose.
I don't remember
don't
Rosie's
remember?
boyfriend.
You don't remember Rosie had a boyfriend?
No.
Remember, he was the most Never mind. I obviously watched too much Jetsons because I have favorite episodes, and that was one of them. That and of course Jet Screamer, baby,
Oh,
baby,
Lord.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I always had a favorite Jetsons. I had favorite Flintstones episodes.
Eat
You know.
up or
Yeah.
That means I love you.
Yeah. See, everybody loved the Jet Screamer episode. It wasn't just me. I liked the I liked the episode of the Flintstones with the way ups. Remember them?
the way up.
Way up. That's
Bug
what
music.
the fun is. Yeah.
Way up.
Yeah.
I like the one where the babysitter was singing to Pebbles. That was so pretty.
Oh, yeah. What was her name? Anne Margrock.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I told you I watched a lot of cartoons.
It'll be important when you're on Jeopardy.
Sure.
Nowhere else.
Sure. If the
My
category
brain
is
filled with
Hanna,
more useless information.
Hanna-Barbera.
Right. Yeah, if the category is Hanna-Barbera, I'm all over that. But yeah. So
Wasn't that Hanna-Barbera?
what?
What?
Scooby-Doo. You ain't hear me just do Scooby?
Oh,
Yeah,
I did
I'm
not.
not sure it was.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. Were they
They're all owned by
Hanna-Barbera?
Warner Brothers now.
Yeah, I don't remember. I honestly don't. A lot of the Hanna-Barbera stuff I remember being in black and white. And I was like, why don't they colorize it?
Captain Caveman and them.
No. What were the birds?
The
Remember them
bird.
birds? Yeah. There were two birds.
Heckle and Jekyll?
Thank you. Them. I didn't like that cartoon for whatever reason. I just didn't like it. But yeah, like when I think of when I thought of Hanna-Barbera, I really always thought of them for some reason.
Scooby-Doo was Hanna-Barbera. Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Right. Shout out to Casey Kasem.
Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh, I loved Josie and the Pussycats. I used to
Steve
love
Buggy.
them. Yeah.
Oh,
The Wacky Racers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember Penelope Pitstop? She used to crack me up.
Penelope Pitstop.
Yeah.
We're going down a whole ass rabbit
Then
hole.
they had the bootleg Scooby Doo with the shark too.
Bootleg Scooby Doo with the
I think it was
shark.
like Jabberjaw or something.
Yes, I used to like Jabberjaws. Look,
Was
wait, I gotta tell this. I'm so sorry. So you brought Jabberjaws up. One of them cartoons, there was some kind of monster or something that went to go swallow Jabberjaws, like swallowed his asshole. And
We
he
let
had
our
a
children
mallet.
watch this shit.
He had a mallet in his hand when he swallowed them. He beat the shit out his throat.
yeah.
And I thought SpongeBob was for pervs.
All you could see was the mallet stretching his neck on the like, and he beat the shit out of his neck till he could get out. That shit was funny as hell. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Was I don't know. That might not have been Hanna-Barbera. I don't. I mean, it seems like a Hanna-Barbera type thing. I don't know if Grape Ape was a Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, it do seem like that.
Yeah,
seems
it gives me a Hanna-Barbera feel. But
In
anyway,
fact, he was in the Wacky Races, wasn't he?
yeah. Enough about the cartoons of our youth because they don't make them like they
That's
used
a
to.
whole rabbit hole.
It is. It is. We could do a whole show on cartoons. I mean, I love cartoons. Hung Kung Fooey, yeah. Underdog. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's a frog.
First light skinned superhero.
So
Puppy power. I'm sorry.
Like I said, we could go I could talk all night on cartoons. I mean, I remember my mom used to get mad at me when I was in college because I would come home and I would be watching cartoons. She'd be like, "Why are you watching cartoons? Like, aren't you too old for that?" I'm like, never too old for cartoons. Never.
Never.
But that was also during the time where Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and the Rugrats and, all of those were out. And I used to be in there just cracking up. Ren and Stimpy.
Cow and chicken.
Cow and Chicken. All of those. Johnny Bravo.
Powerpuff Girls.
You would. Powerpuff Girls is the
Girls.
shit.
Yeah, Powerpuff Girls. Saving the world.
That was my daughter's thing, boy.
For bedtime. Yeah, I used to love Girls.
She just knew she was the green one.
Yep. And I always thought of your child as the blue one. I don't know why. Yeah, Buttercup was hilarious. Like, she was my favorite. Always. Hilarious. Everybody was like, Buttercup is so mean. I'm like, yeah. And hilarious. Like, she was not with the shits at all.
At all.
But again, we're cartoons. Getting on with it.
Right.
We actually have topics this week.
Let's go.
So we'll start with magic since we never start with magic.
Oh shit, I'm participating 2 weeks in a row. I feel special.
Oh,
If I wasn't so red already, I'd be blushing.
You're red. Who beat you? Anyway, so
The
you
sun.
wanted to so you wanted to
Started at
talk
yellow.
about you wanted to talk about being flued out.
Yeah, I thought Star was going to beat me to this one, but apparently she works harder than I do. So I get to play on the internet. And the latest video going around is this guy is driving a chick to the airport and they're arguing because he flew her out and she didn't want to give up the cheeks. I'm quoting that because I don't even talk like that. The whole ride, she's reminding him of how much of a lame he is. To the point where they get to the airport, he gets out, he gives her bag, and she's like, just make sure you send my confirmation number. And he was like, I canceled your ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
There's so much wrong here.
Yeah, but it sounds so familiar because I remember, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, like there being some IG chick saying that Russell Wilson's baby daddy did the same thing to her, like flew her out, and then
Seems to be his
she,
steez.
yeah, and then when she wouldn't participate, he was like, okay, and I
Fuck
guess
out.
yeah, pretty much, and don't know how you getting back, but um, I have mixed feelings about that
You and me both, but go ahead.
because I'm not gonna get the grammar not seeing me. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna get flown out by some dude that I barely know. Okay, like I'm
True.
not doing that if I don't have like
It,
enough money for me to get home or for me to get myself a hotel room or whatever. Because also, I guess it's different if it's future, I guess, because you kind of know who he is. I mean, which is also why you shouldn't go. But
ding, ding,
that's
ding,
a
ding,
whole nother
ding.
talk. That's a whole nother talk show. But okay, if it's somebody who is somebody that you know of, I can halfway see it. But even then, I would still have my own money because I don't trust you. I don't know you. But I wouldn't even want to, like, I wouldn't trust that situation with some dude that I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's common sense.
Like I just wouldn't trust that situation because that just sounds like an invitation to murder me. But
Amongst other things.
amongst other things, correct. So yeah, I don't think that I would even agree to that. Um, if this is somebody that I'm in a relationship with and I have known for a while, I don't think this situation occurs. So,
Would hope
you know,
not.
I would hope not, because if it does, then that tells you all you need to know about that. But yeah, I would never. Yeah, I don't understand like what goes through your head to where you would get on an airplane to go meet a random dude and trust that he got you.
Oh, he had her.
Well, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like financially, like I don't trust that situation because nothing in life is free. Okay, that and which brings me to why I'm conflicted because you should know better. Nothing in life is free. Ain't
First,
nobody doing all that for you to go sightseeing. Okay, and you knew that before you got on the fucking plane.
okay, so that leads me to my thought on the whole thing. First of all, folks, both of them are stupid because
Both.
Yep.
you
Yeah.
you couldn't find some there. You couldn't find some there that you could have spent a couple of dollars on instead of flying somebody out. I mean, you that pressed? I mean, what's going on? Really and truthfully, like you're that pressed that you gonna fly somebody that you barely fucking know. And I'm sorry, maybe she's not, but she's straight up wearing the uniform of a chick who would act like how she's acting. You understand?
But
Um,
also,
Facts.
also to your point, she could also be the killer.
Yeah.
You don't
she could
know.
be
Or
the
the
killer.
robber.
She could be the killer. And here's the thing. He's stupid because you couldn't find none around the corner. I mean, like, really, dude? Like, for real? You couldn't find none downtown? You had to fly some out? But,
Yeah.
okay, because clearly you're pressed. Clearly you're pressed. Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, if a nigga is flying, I'm sorry, excuse my language, but if somebody's flying your ass out. Okay. And you think you just about to sit there and I won't even say look cute, because even though she wasn't no bad looking chick, she looked very hood radish. So you just gonna sit there with your legs crossed the whole time and have him, he just gonna admire your beauty? I mean, what the fuck? You didn't think you was gonna
Right.
fuck when you got there? Like, get out of here.
Right.
I just don't understand.
Glad y'all
Like
said
he
it.
can see what you look like for free over the webcam. Like you, I don't
She
like.
thought
I
he
don't
was just gonna smell
understand.
it. Maybe he just want to smell it.
I don't understand what either of them were thinking in this situation.
Yeah, both of them got issues. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Strangers,
and I'm
don't do
glad
that.
y'all spoke on it first, but how far, this is before airplanes, driving, how far are you going to go for the first link?
In my youth or now?
Either or. Average.
Now, if I have to drive longer than 10 minutes, I'm out. Like, I'm out.
Okay.
in your
Star.
youth. In my youth, because I'm just adventurous like that. I probably, if it was somebody that I connected with and we seemed real cool, like, all right, we'll meet each other halfway. Probably go maybe as far as 100 miles, maybe. But now, shit, the way gas
Two,
prices
two and a half hours.
are, huh?
Two and a half hours.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Because it puts me in a whole nother city. And even if I don't like you, I'm driving my own car and I can go do my own thing.
Exactly. So if it's flown
Exactly.
out,
Yeah.
you have to assume it's 5 or better hours away.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I will say this. In my youth, I did go quite a distance, but that was for somebody that I knew already and was already in a relationship with.
Yeah, I wouldn't count that as the first encounter.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But for the first encounter, I probably would have driven maybe 45 minutes. Maybe, like I'm just not doing all that.
joys of
Like,
metropolitan areas.
well,
Okay,
I'm talking
so
about I'm talking about when I lived in the desert. Like that was about as far as I would go.
that
But,
would get you to the other end of the city.
well, that's what I'm saying. Because other than that, because that's as far as you can go unless you're willing to drive like a few hours. And I wasn't willing to do that. So
Okay, so we have to assume this chick is at least 4 hours away. So that's a state or two at least. I'm with both of y'all. If you're getting flown out, go ahead and assume you're giving up the box. I don't knock dude for what he was thinking, but realistically, one, you're sitting in a car filming this on the phone. You are a lame. As both of y'all have stated, if you got flown out, you knew at some point you were expected to give up some. So in my head, it seems like this cornball talked himself out of some. The same way where like you can't get none locally, clearly he can't. Your game gotta be trash. Two is you gotta just be realistic with yourself, people. Don't jump through all them hoops if you don't already know it's bagged. That's way
yeah,
too presumptuous. I mean, no is no at all times, but you got
I
to know
can't get
way
over.
before you bought the ticket. I don't care what your pockets look like, that it's going to happen.
I can't get over how y'all didn't have a conversation about this before a ticket was purchased. Like, like I don't. Whatever. I mean, I don't know what the kids do these days, but we would have had to
Simping,
at
that's
least
what they be doing.
we would have at least had to have had a conversation about it.
Both of y'all lame for
And
the record.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, they're both stupid because yeah, they're both stupid Because why would I buy, if I'm a dude, why would I buy a ticket without clearly stating or without clearly knowing what the situation was ahead of time? You know.
Yeah.
Now, if I buy this ticket, like I'm not going to spend that. Whatever.
Like,
I don't know. Maybe
We
he has
fucking
it
in
to
the
spend.
airport, on the way to the house, at the house, and then we can hang out.
like it's
I-
head or
I
something.
mean-
Shit. Like what? Like
Yeah.
Let me stop.
I don't know. And if I'm her, well, also again, either one of them could be the killer. So I don't advise any of this.
No, not a first time.
No.
But it starts
No,
that we
no,
might
no,
meet you halfway. I ain't fly
no.
me to your
Yeah.
hood.
And
No.
that is so not safe. That's so not safe for a woman. Like
At all.
that's just not fucking safe.
Yeah, I don't know you, and now I'm in a city
Where
that
you
I don't
have the
belong.
upper hand, you know all the twists, turns, and everything, and anybody coming to look,
Exactly.
we don't know shit. Like,
Yeah, and for the record, I mean, and just in the interest of equality, it's also not safe for him because he don't know what she's up to. I mean, their history is littered with men who have gotten robbed in this very way,
yeah,
Word to Cardi B.
and or lost their lives.
be
So,
smarter, people. That's all.
Be smarter. Yeah, I mean, it's some ass worth all that. Is telling your girlfriend that you got flued out worth all that? I mean, it's just
Yeah,
not.
he flew me out.
Yeah. So anyway, on a similar vein, so this week I happened to be talking to a friend of mine who was disgusted. Hear me? Disgusted.
Glad you find
Because-
humor in their disgust, but continue.
Well, because you should have heard the hour-long tirade that I had listened to. Disgusted that her brother and his new girlfriend came over for dinner and were, for all intents and purposes, all over each other.
Oh,
Like strong PDA.
Hold
She
on.
didn't want to see that, which I understand. It's her brother. But how do y'all feel about PDA? Are you pro, con, somewhere in between?
first and foremost, I'm glad I don't have any sisters. I'm not against it, but there's a point where you just showing off. Stop it.
Okay.
I'm not against PDA, but you know, decorum. There's such thing as decorum.
Thank you.
You know, at the dinner table, probably not. You know, we'll peck here, you know, whatever. But like, fucking sticking your tongue down somebody's throat at the dinner table, who wants to see that? First of
Yeah,
all, the
that's just
noise,
weird.
the noise. I'm like, what?
Better Martin and Gina and run in the bathroom and fuck real quick. Ain't gotta be all in front of people.
Well, don't do that either. I mean,
No, do that. Do that.
No, don't do that. Here's my thing about PDA, and I'm not against it, but like Star said, there's a thing about decorum. Like I don't mind like people holding each other's hands or giving each other a little peck here and there, but the extent to which some people feel the need to be draped all over each other is extremely annoying.
That's some new
When it
relationship shit that you should have grown out of in your early 20s.
when it comes to me,
Yeah.
I am not in like I don't do PDA that much. Mostly because I'm like people in my business, quite frankly.
Mostly because it's hot. Fuck off
like
me.
like like exactly like that too. Uh, like we can be in the same room. Like I can be in the same room with somebody who I consider my significant other, and you won't even know we're together because that's how like I don't really do PDA like that at all. But I'm not opposed to, like, it doesn't disgust me to see other people doing it, but I will roll my eyes if it gets out of hand because like
Yeah,
really,
Stern
I'm the
eye rolling.
asshole in the background. Like, get a room.
well, not even get a room like what's wrong with you?
Some people's
like
love language is physical touch.
well, I get that. And that's why I say I don't mind you holding hands or whatever, but I mean, you don't have to grope each other in my presence. Like I don't need that in my life. Like I do not need to see you groping someone. Um and I also find it tacky. I don't know. I was raised by Southerners. So maybe that's why, but I find it very tacky to do all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when we get behind closed doors, that's a whole different subject.
Let's go. Let's get it.
Private displays of affection are a good thing.
That's what I'm saying. Then we can touch each other and whatever else. But in
Display
public,
affectionate
I need
privates.
you. Yeah, when we're in public, I need you to, you know, cease and desist.
Act like you've been here
With
before.
yeah, or act like we don't know each other. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm not that bad, but you know, yeah. Don't be draped all over me. I can't stand that.
Oh, on other internet bullshit, I forgot the exact quote because so many people stole it and remixed it, but somebody basically said men are only physically attracted to women and more emotionally attracted to men.
What?
What?
Men are mostly physically attracted to women, but more emotionally attracted to men.
I don't think that that's necessarily true because,
Motherfucker will,
yeah,
what they say, like, a nigga won't leave his barber, but he'll cheat on his girlfriend in a minute.
well, that's true. um, but yeah, I don't know.
You know, you'd rather hang with his
I
boys
mean,
than sit there and watch a rom com with you.
mm,
A
I
lot of people
mean,
was mad, but I was sitting there like, they might be onto something.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, you could say the same. I mean, you could say the same thing sometimes about some women, you know, because we put up
Yeah, but at
with
least
a
y'all had the
whole lot
decency
of
to taste
bullshit
the
off our
cooch once.
friends. What?
Go
Ugh.
ahead.
Never mind. But anyway. But yeah.
Next subject.
Yeah, because you just completely ruined that one as you want to do. Um,
Keep it real, son.
so speaking of men and their emotions, fuck y'all's feelings. Not just kidding. Uh,
No, you're not.
no, I am Star.
So, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and um, she was talking about her male companion that she's been talking to for about a year. Um, they they're not doing so good, and so they have one of those very real conversations. And at the end of the conversation, he was cool for a minute, and then he like started like crying, and they didn't necessarily break up, but she was like, well, the end is near, pretty much. And that's how they left the conversation. But anyway, he like kind of like started crying, and she said that that was such a turnoff for her. I was like, okay, so the man cares about you is a turnoff? Like, I don't
It
understand.
is for a lot of women.
And then it got me to really thinking about how, through my years, how many women I've heard say that, they view men crying as a weakness. And they don't like to see men cry. And which is so fucking unfair. Like, here's my thing. I don't like to see men cry, but for the same reason why I don't like to see women cry. Because
People are hurt.
I'm always right. I don't want to see anybody that I care about hurting, but that doesn't mean that I think any less of them because they're having a very human moment. Um I don't understand what that is. Now there are some dudes, and I'll give a little contrast. I have another friend of mine who was married to this guy, and every time he would go out and do whatever the hell he was doing, and she would have enough of it and say, you know what, fuck this, I don't want to do this no more, whatever, right? Then all of a sudden he just break down crying, abandonment, and my mama abandoned me, and you gonna abandon me, and he just bust out crying. Like, okay, at that point, the tears are
Wait, you're a bitch, my nigga.
right. Like
Yeah, that would get on my
that's a
fucking nerves.
manipulation. It's a manipulation tactic.
But
And
to be
Parasite needs a
fair,
host.
But to be fair, that would get on my nerves if a woman did it too.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, what they
you
do.
know, white women tears always irritate me. But
But yeah, I'm just like, it's so not fair, like, for women to say, oh, well, that's a turnoff, if I see a
yeah,
man cry. Like, a man can't have a moment. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I've
do
never
everything in
really-
your power to wreck his nerves, and then when it happens, you bitch ass.
I have never really subscribed to that notion that men shouldn't cry. What I will say is that it depends on what you're crying about. Because
Word.
if you crying about something that I deem to be stupid, then yes, it's going to annoy the fuck out of me. And you will lose cool points in my eyes. But again, to be fair, the same goes with women. If you're sitting around here crying over stupid shit, I'm looking at you, I'm giving you the side eye because I'm irritated. But if you're crying about something, okay, like for example, remember, dude, I told you that we had to break up because our relationship was too volatile.
Mm-hmm.
The day I met him, okay, we were talking and I was asking him questions about his family, and he was crying because all of his brothers had been murdered. Okay.
Reasonable.
Which is a good reason to cry. Okay. When you're bringing that up.
I was getting ready to say, like, anyway,
Go
ahead.
Yeah, so when, so I'm asking him about his family, and he's talking about his brothers being murdered, and he's crying, and I remember his friends saying, man, you crying? Like you just met this chick and you crying? Like, oh,
yeah, that's a little
you're never
early,
going to get a date or whatever. But I didn't think anything less of him for crying about that, because if you're going to cry about something, cry about that. You know what I mean? Like that's some serious shit to cry about. And so I never held that against him. and I dated him anyway, obviously. But that's what I mean. Like if it depends on what you're crying about. You know, if you're crying because we missed the 9 o'clock show, I ain't got nothing for you. You know what I mean? like I don't know what to do with that.
I think it also matters how you cry. Like, if you had that look in your eye like I'm crying because I don't want to kill anybody, that's one thing. But if you wear like long sleeves and hoochie daddy shorts and Crocs and curl up and suck your thumb while crying, you get no respect.
For the record, if I deem that you're crying, if you have the look of I'm crying because I don't want to kill anybody, then I'm probably not going to take you either.
Nah, you might want to give that person some room, but it does happen.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, because I don't want to be the person that you're trying not to kill, and it's inevitable because I got a smart ass mouth.
I know the feeling. If I'm around dudes with that look, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be out.
Yeah,
handle your business.
Yeah, I mean, wish you nothing but the best, but
I don't put nothing on nobody's books.
That, right? Exactly. Exactly. I'm not being loyal to nobody while they send up.
I don't even answer calls.
Right. No collect calls. Do they still do that?
Get out though. We cool. Not while you in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, side note, do they still do collect calls out of prison and jail?
Apparently, for the right price, you can have a phone and internet access while you're in.
I was gonna say, because I feel like that's crazy if they're still charging people.
I'm sure they are. I forgot if the phone was 500 or 5,000, but it was something ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if they're still doing collect calls, I feel like that's criminal because.
Can you call a cell phone collect?
I don't even know that you can. Like, that's what I'm
saying.
Landlines
are going extinct.
Yeah, but my point is that calls, the exchanges are now. Anyway, I don't know. I don't even know why
they're gonna make their money off of modern day slavery.
I guess, but if they do, then shame on them because, yeah. But anyway, but yeah, no, men are absolutely entitled to their feelings.
A lot of y'all overcompensating right now, but let it out.
I mean, but like I said, there are a lot of women who get on my nerves with that bullshit too. So,
yeah, but women get more of a pass when they cry.
Oh, not with me.
But in general,
no, it's more of a pass. It's annoying, but you'll let a woman get away with more. You crying over that shit than a dude.
In general, women get a pass.
Yeah, I would say that's probably true, and I don't know why, because again, it's irritating no matter what gender it's coming out of. Like, I'm just like, get a hold of yourself. But I'm also a person, and that's a problem that I have. That is a problem I have, that I tend to judge people based on myself, you know what I mean? And that's not fair.
To an extent.
Yeah, and that's not fair because I'm not a very overtly emotional person. Now, inwardly I'm emotional, but overtly I'm not necessarily emotional. If I get to the point where I'm emotional, trust me, I'm at my I'm this close to to snapping.
Crying like you want to kill somebody.
Yeah. I'm like, or just running away from it all. Like, I mean, like it's bad. Um, I remember when my father passed away, and even when my mother passed away, I remember people telling me, "Wow, I haven't seen you cry once." And you know what? You're not going to, because that's what I do in private. I don't do that in front of you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm just not doing that. That's not what I do. I don't like necessarily break down in front of people often.
Yeah, I
So
think it really comes down to that fucking I want attention cry. Yeah, fuck that.
yeah,
I don't even accept that
yeah,
from small children. I'm like, if your feelings are hurt or if you're physically hurt, all right, cry, let it out, but all that fucking screaming and hollering, take your ass to the other end of the house and come back when you calm
exactly.
down.
The dramatics, you know, or the manipulative. Well, and I always call the manipulative tears white women tears because they tend to use them for manipulation, and that is very annoying. Um,
My uncle used to date this woman. Well, he ended up marrying her, supposedly, whatever.
Try
But
not to sound so thrilled.
and she cried all the time. Like she was always crying. It was just like I was young and I was just like, man, what is wrong with her? I don't know. I just thought about that.
She need a pacifier.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like every time they got into an argument about something, she was crying. Um, she would be at our house crying or over my auntie house crying. It's just like whatever. I'm sorry. I was having
and you
fun.
know what happens with me when people do that?
Mm,
I end up like becoming immune to it. Like I don't like well, first of all, like I said, I'm more inwardly emotional than outwardly emotional. So I hate to hear people cry. Like it really hurts my heart when people are broken. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
Like to hear them be emotional. But
mm-hmm,
if you're emotional over every little thing, then I become numb to it. And then all of a sudden, like it doesn't even register to me that you're crying
mm-hmm,
because you cry over every fucking thing.
mm-hmm.
And I'm not
Punk
going to sit up
ass.
there and have my emotions wrapped up every time you shed a tear. Like we're not doing that. So, you know, I don't know.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, I'm
Not
not
gonna
doing
be
that.
able to
Like,
do it.
well, because you know what I mean? Like, why am I getting my emotions all wrapped up and you're crying because it's Tuesday? You know what you know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense. So eventually I stop like feeling for you
Shit, I
because you cry
stopped being
about everything.
around you.
Well, that too.
I feel
But if I
you.
but if I have to be around you, because there used to be this woman that I used to work with, she used to cry about everything. And I remember one day we were at work and she was crying about something. I don't even remember what it was. But one of my coworkers was new, had only been there for like a week. And this girl was just boo-hooing and boo-hooing, just sitting at her desk boo-hooing, boo-hooing. And I was just, just typing, just working. And I remember she pulled me. She was like, "You don't hear her crying?" And I was like, "Huh?" And I turned around. I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
Like she's like, "It doesn't." I was like, "She does that all the time." So like I'm not pressed. Like I'm not gonna sit up. I'm not gonna be constantly asking you what's wrong. So if that's why you're boohooing, then yeah, don't do that. Like, you'll get me a couple of times, but I'm not about to sit up there and constantly be asking you what's wrong, constantly be trying to soothe you, and nah, I'm not doing it. So
Can't blame
there
you.
you go.
I remember I used to when I worked at Ponderosa, I was out on the floor and we were like really busy, like really, 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 really busy. And it was a little Caucasian girl that I was working the floor with. And we were like there was only 3 of us on the floor. And just to give you a sense, there's usually 6 of us. So if it's extremely busy, you should have a 6-man floor. Okay, and there's 3 of us. So we're around there. Her customers are asking me for stuff, and I hadn't seen her for a minute. I'm like, where the hell did she go? So I'm thinking like she quit. So anyway, I had to go in a walk-in for something. And she's like slunched down on the side of the meat tray. She's all crying and shit. And I was like, what are you doing here? She was like, they're being mean to me. I'm like, if you don't get your ass out of here. Like, I mean, like, I have never been so insensitive to somebody crying, but that just like really pissed me off or whatever. And of course, you know, like the boss had to have a talk with me about workplace sensitivity, right? All this other shit. But I'm like, we out here getting slammed and ass kicked over like.
I was gonna say, what about her sensitivity? She left y'all out there to fend for y'all selves. Like, what about
now? Workplace sensitivity talk. Like we have to be considerate of other people when they're having their mom. In my mind, I'm young as hell. Like, and I was really mean. Like in my early 20s, like fuck that bitch. Like we out here drowning. Like get her ass out of here. She got her ass up though. Shit. I'm like, stop crying. I'm like, tell the motherfuckers kiss your ass and keep it moving. Hey. But
right.
I wasn't nice.
Cry on the drive home. Like
right.
Don't cry on the drive home because you might run into something, but cry in your car after work. Like don't.
Sometimes you gotta let it out when nobody's looking.
In the drive, in the freaking reach in next to the damn meat tray. Sure.
Meat tray.
Yeah. There's something wrong with you. You realize this, right?
Oh, me?
There's something wrong with the rest of the world. I'm fine.
Something wrong with all of us.
I'm glad you think so.
Just a bag of fucking fruitcakes.
Don't. You're making it worse.
I eat a lot of nuts. True. Pause. All right, people. Man. If you like the show, tell a friend, tell a foe, tell all the hoes. And if you don't, tell everybody you know, because we don't give a fuck. It is the Threesome Podcast on Facebook and Instagram and the Threesome Pod on Twitter. We would give out our individual shit, but there's a reason we don't say our names on here.
Yeah,
Holla at you people.
Know who I am. Shit.
Right, because you people can't be trusted. Anyway.
I got folks looking for me, so
yeah.
Is there a bounty? Because just kidding, I wouldn't sell you out like that. Anyway,
they just want me because I'm cute.
Yeah, that's usually the way.
Hey yo, I think I'm gonna stop doing the OnlyFans thing because if Chris fucking Brown can charge $1,000 to just take a pic with him, I'm doing things severely wrong.
Yeah, you won't sing for us. So
I cannot sing. I will stay in my range. You want to battle? Okay. We can go at it. But
get the vocalizing. Get the vocalizing. Get your bag.
Then quit trying to do what Chris Brown does.
No, I'm not trying to do what he does. I know I can't get 1,000. I'm not famous like that, but I could charge less and do more.
Get the vocalizing.
I was gonna say, it's got to be some singing in there somewhere.
Not really. I play the instrument. I don't need to make the noise.
Come on, let's hear you do Luther. Come on, a chair is still a chair. Come on, a chair is still a chair.
Would you just say, "God, girl"? I need you with it.
Yes, because he's a lunatic, as I stated earlier.
Hey, Luther was a musical genius.
Okay. Anyway,
I just heard a Ruben Studdard cover of a song he did. He didn't need to do that. Not that Ruben was a bad singer. He just didn't need to do that song.
Well, I agree. I don't really Well, never mind. I remember it, and I love me some Prince.
Yo, have you heard that garbage version of Raspberry Beret?
I have not,
It's like a
but I was
half country version somebody never needed to do, and I've heard it like twice this week at work. I'm about to
I
fight
was gonna
whoever's on the
say
iPad.
I absolutely hated Prince's version of "Most Beautiful Girl in the World." Like I hated that, like
What?
with a passion. Oh, I
Hmm.
hated that.
I
Ugh,
didn't.
I
I
hated.
didn't. I didn't. It wasn't one of
Think it
my
was as
favorites, but
good, but hate is strong for me
yeah.
even.
Oh, it irritated me because I'm like, why would he remake that song? like, like what? Like, why would you do that? And why would you?
The most beautiful.
I hated it. I hated it. I
Mm.
hated it.
The whole state of Minnesota is gonna come jump you right now.
I mean, they can. And then I'll have to question their musical acumen because there are a lot of Prince songs that are worth fighting about. That is not one of them. Okay, I'm sorry.
Lord.
It's just not.
I'll tell
Um,
you what Prince song that everybody liked that I didn't care for was "Diamonds and Pearls." People love that song. That song. I didn't hate it, but I just
I loved Diamonds and Pearls, but
all I can
to
do.
the extent that I liked Diamonds and Pearls, it was more for the harmony. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It wasn't necessarily the individual vocal or the song itself, but I did like the way the voices blended in that song. I just did.
Mm.
But that's not my favorite Prince song.
Knock
That's
yourself
not.
out.
Yeah, that's not even close to one of my favorite Prince songs. So, um, another song that I didn't really care that much about when it came out, but I absolutely hated when someone remade it, was Kiss.
Yeah, that's another one.
Who had
I
the
was
nerve
not
to
a big
remake that
fan.
one?
Huh?
Who had the nerve to remake that one?
What was his name? What was that white man's name? Tom Jones?
What?
Was it Tom Jones? Oh, it
I
was
hope not.
awful. It was awful. I
If
think
it
it
was
was Tom
Jones,
Jones.
it would have to be.
Yeah, it was Tom Jones. Yeah, it was awful. So awful.
now.
Like I didn't appreciate Prince. Like I didn't like that song very much. But then when I heard Tom Jones's version, I was just like, okay, Prince. Like, yeah, because he could have kept that.
I want to hear it now. I was in Speedway today, grooving to "It's Not Unusual to Be Loved
To
by
be
You."
loved by you. Yeah. Now that's his lane.
Um, this black guy came across me, like he seen me in the gas station. He kind of just looked at me like I was just crazy. I'm like, the fuck wrong with you? Why are you looking at me like that? Stupid.
He was waiting for you to do the Carlton dance.
I did it.
Yes.
Got to.
I wanna die.
All right, walk a dog. Peace out.
Yep. I'm going to walk the dog.
Walking it down.
Atomic.
No. No.
Listen, I'm from the home of the funk. I like what I like, even though they didn't do that beat. It was a couple white dudes.
Well, I mean, I like that song. I'm sorry.
I like the way it came out.
Yeah.
That song get on my nerve. Woo.
Oh, you had a bad experience with a Q, didn't you?
No,
I know it.
never. Let's go here. I never liked that fucking song, and then the Q's made it worse. It's not entirely their fault, but
I was gonna say because everybody who hates that song is like, yeah, I dated a Q, and it did not.
never ever dated a Q. I was
Shout
not
out
into the
to-
frat boys.
My daughter for DJing a party for a 6-year-old and playing the 9-minute version back to back. Thanks sweetheart. You got to read the crowd.
Wow.
That's my baby.
Anyway, shout out to, Funkadelic. Anyway, walking the dog. We're out.
Oh.